It is Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show and the Aftershocks podcast. And before we show you this next video, just wanted to remind you that you can add the CMSPN to your Roku. That's right. If you have a Roku or a Roku TV, just click the link below. It's in the scroll. It's also in the description of this video. And make sure you're logged into your Roku account on your computer, and it will add it right to your Roku. It'll add it, then you just refresh your device, and bang, there it is. That way you can watch all of our episodes, whether it's us or Skull Sessions or Talk to Me or Aftershocks or Classic Metal Show. All be on your TV. It's a deal, right? And it's free. All right, make sure you do that. And now, here's the video you actually came to see.
All right, we're back with another episode of Aftershocks TV at AftershocksTV.com. And joining us today from New Jersey Southern Hard Rockers Incognito Theory, we got vocalist Dave Incognito. Dave, what's going on, man? How you doing? Thanks for coming on.
Hey, what's going on, Matt? How's everything going?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Appreciate you coming on, man. Incognito Theory. Let's talk about it, man. You guys have been real busy riding high on this really cool and excellent self-titled EP that was just released back in June on Rage Breed record, man, and it's got that similar sound that we heard on the previous EP, Whiskey Fuel, that came out last year. Obviously, definitely a few, I think, different twists that we'll talk about in a minute. But why don't you just start us off, man, by talking about the EP and how things are going so far with the release?
Things are going really well. Can't really complain. The guys we've been working really hard on a lot of different things. We're like all over the place during this pandemic. But over the pandemic, me and my cousin John Moscow, who's the drummer and backing vocalist, wrote a bunch of songs. Really didn't know what it was going to turn out to be. We just started writing, and the first one that came out that we knew was going to be our first single, well, so we thought, was Fired Up. And that was pretty much the last song that we did. And that was the departure of Jay Prusak. That was his last video with us as the lead guitarist of Incognito Theory. And then by the time Set It Off came around, we were signed to Rage Breed Records. Karina's really awesome. And, of course, we had Dave Crum from 60 Miles Down, a really good friend of mine, my drummer's guitarist, coming in, doing the session work with Mike Lepond and everything. And things just kind of, took I guess, flight from there, man. I mean, like we picked our 5 songs. This Rebel Soul lives on. Everybody went crazy over that. But Set It Off is the one that everybody's really, between that and Smoking Gun right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, Set It Off, man, that's definitely like I like to call them a sticker, man. That song just sticks in your head. I mean, it really does. I mean, just the other day, for like 2 days, man, I couldn't get it out of my head. No, I mean, it's a great song, man. It's got that staying power, and listen to just the singing, like that chorus. Speaking of fires you up, man. That song Fired Up, but the song Set It Off really fires you up. It makes you want to go out and drink, man. I'll be honest with you. That's what I get out of it, man. And speaking of drinking, there's one thing that signifies the band. It's definitely your constant references to all things whiskey, man. So talk about your love for whiskey, man, because that's something that I don't think I've heard any band, put in their songs as much as you guys do, man.
Yeah. I'm a big whiskey connoisseur. It's Mark. Anything distilled, of course, if I can find it where it's gluten-free, that would be great. So if there is anybody out there who doesn't have a gluten-free whiskey, man, come and see Incognito Theory. We'd love to work with you. Sorry, man. So seamless plug, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Seamless plug, But of course, our favorite right now is Jack Daniels. Very, very big into the Jack Daniels, the Gentleman Jack and stuff like that. But yeah, I've been a whiskey connoisseur I'm going on like maybe 15, 20 years now. And I always, I talk about things that I like. I mean, like, if you don't know, Matt, Set It Off is actually for the marijuana cultivators and the marijuana enthusiasts out there.
Oh, nice. Did I know
that song's about getting, partying with the 420, baby.
Hell yeah. I'm down with that, man. I'm down with the 420 all time, man. Well, speaking of just getting back to the music, man, on the EP, I mean, the record, obviously musically, it's consistent with what was on Whiskey Fueled, I think, but sonically, like I said, it's got a lower bottom. It almost reminds me of like a Billy Anderson produced record where it's like a speaker blower, man. That thing is just really, yeah, it just really kicks in there. And for songs like, I think Set It Off and Fire It Up, it's perfect. And speaking of low bottom, as you just referred to before, your bassist, Mike Lepond, obviously a huge guy in the metal scene, Symphony X, Ross the Boss.
He's been on every one of our Incognito Theory records.
I know, man. I was just going to ask you, how did you initially, I know he's been with you for a while. How did you initially, wind up connecting with Mike, and how'd you get him on board with a guy who's got so many projects going on?
Mike would show up at like a bunch of different like radio stations, parties, stuff like that. And we happened to be at a friend's radio station. And we just, I didn't have a band at the time. In 2009, when I put Incognito Theory together, it started out as my solo project.
Okay.
And I pretty much started grabbing at friends that I thought that I could trust. And they were playing one of our songs called Draw the Line, which is still a big staple if you haven't heard that. I had Lee Richards of Dropbox and the original Godsmack guitarist do a solo on that.
Oh, nice.
So when that came on the show, I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is DJ JD, Jerry Deckwit of the Metallic Cave.
Oh yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. He's the one who was having it was a Christmas party actually. Mike heard the song, and I kind of went on. I said, "Look, man, I got this track. It's called Desire. I would really love for you to come in and drop some bass on it." And he said, "Sure, man. I'll definitely do it." And he came in, he did that, and we let him hear some other songs, and I was like, "Would you like to do the very first full-length LP with us, which was Ashes Divide," which and I'm going to put this out there. It was very piecemealed. I did my best to be very thought out about it, but unfortunately, I feel that we could have done better. But our self-titled now is our best work to date, and I can even go explaining why in a minute about that. But that's how Mike came along, and Mike's been working with us ever since. I mean, he did the Desire EP, he did the Ashes Divide full length. He did Whiskey Fueled with us, which Whiskey Fueled had some piecemeal, but people did say that it was more cohesive. I think it's because of the three songs, In the Black, Whiskey Fueled, and Unbroken But Scarred. I really believe that those were the best tracks on the record on that EP. And Mike really brought something cool to those. And then when we played a show one night, and there was this guy doing sound at one of the clubs here in New Jersey called Dingbats.
Okay.
And it was Steve Zing, bassist of Danzig and Samhain, and he loved my voice, and he came up to me and he's like, "Dave, I'd love to work with you," because originally all our recordings and mixing and stuff like that was done by Jay Prusak, the guy that has been departed now almost a year now. Still very good friends. We worked together for 21 years. It's just moving in a different direction. You know what I mean? So that's what was going on there. But yeah, I said, "Sure, Steve, we could work together." So the first one he did was Fired Up, and we really loved what he did there. And then I looked at my cousin John, and I'm like, "John, why don't we have Steve do the rest of this EP?" Because we didn't think we were going to do a full length. Like we were like, let's do this EP. And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we have John has his own studio. We went in there, we did a bunch of pre-productions, demos, whatever, brought him over to Steve. And dude, he kicked our ass, man, especially me on vocals, with harmonies. Of course, John sings with me on this record, and, going back, but this next one, dude, all I can tell you is, man, everybody's in for, they're in for something on this one, First single getting ready to drop it on Halloween, man, Halloween or Thanksgiving.
Okay, fantastic.
So we're moving, man. We're moving pretty fast, man.
Yeah. Well, talk. Yeah, man. So talk. Yeah, I was just going to ask you. Talk about doing the record with Steve Zing producing. I mean, you got two, New Jersey legends in there with Mike Lepond, obviously, and now with Steve Zing. And like you said, original Samhain drummer. I believe he tours with Danzig as well as a bassist.
Yeah, Danzig too. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, talk a bit about how that was recording with such a legend like that, New Jersey legend, a guy like Steve.
it was very surreal. But it was he definitely motivated me to, to be a better singer and to really pay attention, a little bit more to melody and but we've through the duration of this recording, we became really good friends, and he saw that I caught on quick on a lot of things, and he kind of just he let me fly a lot. Like he let me really, be who I wanted to be. I mean, I really feel that Incognito Theory is finally coming into its own with our influences and stuff like that. And he was super big on wanting to know the influences. I'm very heavily, the word I'm looking for, give me a second here. I'm very heavily influenced on 90s alternative grunge.
Okay.
But like the old school stuff, like my idol is Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots.
Okay.
And of course, Matchbox 20, like, all these kind of Alice in Chains, but mainly Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, Alice in Chains being one of the heaviest. And I wanted to mix that flair in with the Southern stoner, rock stuff like Sabbathy, Down, Trouble, and COC, Monster Magnet, try to really, I wanted to, it's like putting, drinking a couple of different boozes and making your head spin, I guess. So I wanted to throw a bunch of things into a pot and see if we can make it stick. And I mean, Steve helped us to make that stick. So we got these big epic choruses that if you listen closely, I'm sure you have, you can hear the Alice in Chains influence between me and my cousin singing together. And that just happened. He's like, hey, we can make that happen. Now we have our niche. Steve Bloodgood is the lead guitarist. The solo that you hear on Smoking Gun, that's Steve. Him coming in and lending his funk and his jazz and his stoner, Sabbath influence to the stuff is really, it's molding and now the candle has melted and kind of molded into who we are. Yeah. I really believe that. And I mean, I think people are going to notice that when they hear Sunset Moonshine, when that comes out. So they're going to notice that right away. And that was we didn't think that was going to come so quick, but it did. I mean, it really, really did. Zing has heard demos of it already, and he's on board and he's happy with it and everything. But we're going to see what happens moving forward. But yes, it was a very creative, enlightening, and I felt like he was like for me at least, I felt that he was like my Yoda with instruction, Steve Zing, because he really helped us. I really feel that with his help, that this is why this record is, it's better.
I agree. I mean, and you just alluded to that before. And the fact is that, when you go back to say, 2017's Ashes Divide, the full length, that definitely had, as you kind of mentioned right before, definitely more of a grungy alternative 90s, vibe to it. Where, like you said, now it's you guys, have progressed when you listen then to Whiskey Fueled, and then now obviously with the self-titled EP. Yeah, I mean, you've got more of that Southern rock, groove metal type of the stoner thing. Like you said, it's not really, you can't really put your finger on exactly what it is. It's got a whole bunch of different influences. The songs, don't sound the same. It's all, I mean, like I said, it's a really, I would say, solid amalgamation of all those blends of subgenres and genres. And I mean, so with the Southern rock sound now, what you guys have with that sort of tinge, is that coming from the new guitarist coming into the band now? Is he? I mean, I'm
going to tell you a story about him. We're going to get in. I wish he could have did the interview today. He was going to do it with me today, but unfortunately, he had some family stuff going on. Okay. Steve actually is one of the original members of Incognito Theory.
Oh, okay, cool.
Steve Bloodgood came in as a bass player, and then of course, at that time, family stuff and all that, and it just wasn't the right time. What happened was after we released Fired Up, he hit me up and he's like, dude, wow, what's going on? And first thing, I'm always real about stuff. I'd rather be real than bullshit people. He's like, where's Jay? I'm like, Jay's no longer in the band anymore, dude. We just couldn't get on a page. And he's like, wow, dude, 21 years you ended. And I'm like, dude, it's cool, man. I said, now he goes, did you get a new guitar player? And I'm like, so we have somebody helping us. And he's like, he goes, no, do you have a new permanent? And I'm like, no. He goes, dude, I want back in the band, dude.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I was like, yeah. He goes, dude, I've always loved working with you, Dave, and I want back in the band. And I'm like, okay, let me just talk to John and and Mike about it, and we'll get back to you. And he goes, well, hey man, check your mail because I just sent you a couple of he sent me Zoom videos playing the new fucking shit, man.
Oh, nice.
Like the whole EP, I mean the whole like Whiskey Fueled, like Unbroken, but like all the and Learn Fired Up, like totally like turned around and that's why. Right away, I was like, hell yeah, man, come on back. We swapped. There's a brand new solo on Fired Up, which is the one that's out through Rage Breed that you heard.
Mm-hmm. That's
Steve too.
Okay. Wow.
So it's like, he's bringing some power. We're like, the best way that I tell people, it's like, how you have, what was that? How Rob Zombie has those movies, The Devil's Rejects and all that.
House of Thousand Corpses, yeah.
Yeah. Me, John, and Steve are the three from hell. And we're like it's like the magic that happens between us. And then, now with Mike Lepond no longer being with us, he actually, he's got so many other projects and he actually is he's moving to Florida. His wife got a job out there, so he's moving to Florida. So
okay,
but that's where Jerry Animus comes in, and Jerry was also an original member of the band, dear friend of mine from when we were youths, and he's back now. So this is really cool, man. That's why we had to, that's why I started using the catchphrase, the Band of Brothers, because now I have. I have family. Like, I mean, it's like family band. Like all the guys I wanted to work with are here. You know what I mean? Not to exclude what I had, but I have, and these guys are on board, man. They're down with the leather cuts. They're down with the outlaw way. They're down with the, the whole Pantera kind of, okay, man, let's, it's time to let's light it up, man. This record coming out, man. It's going to be like pouring gasoline on an already lit flame.
Nice.
That's what I can put
it. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, because you released EP, last year, Whiskey Fueled, and obviously the self-titled EP. Is that the way forward? I see a lot of bands obviously doing that these days. It almost makes sense, to do it that way instead of the traditional way of putting out a full length. I mean, so is that what you guys are going to continue to do? Maybe just release 5 songs every year or two and kind of do it that way?
The way we're doing it is every 6 months, we're gonna try to put out an EP. But stranger things have happened. We're doing a video. We've done a video for every song on this record we just released.
Okay.
We're doing a video shoot this Saturday coming up, September 18th. For Sunset Moonshine, so they're going to get a video for that. They're going to get a lyric. Same guy, Mark Patrick. Mark Patrick does our pictures and video. He's part of the team. His tag is Smokey. We've always called him that. He's been a part of our crew for a long time, so he does everything. You're going to get a lyric video for Hellbent, which is the last one for this record, and then you're going to get Sunset Moonshine video, which is going to be really awesome. And pretty much we're about branding, but the Band of Brothers, the Brotherhood. This record, this is going to be a full-length record. This is going to be 8 or 9 songs.
Oh, very cool.
So, and that's I can't give you the date, but what I will tell you is it is coming out spring 2022 on Rage Breed. We're in the studio now writing it. We're already working on it. The songs are written. We're starting to mix. Sunset Moonshine's pretty much almost mixed already. Band of Brothers is another song that's going to be on it. That's already mixed already. Still got a little bit of work on that. I'll throw a couple other titles out there too. We got a song called Nail Them All. That's going to be on the record. That's
nice.
Going to be, yeah. There's what else do we have that I'm really proud? Oh, Gravesland. That one's going to be really cool. That song is going to be really wicked. That's going to take you back, man. If you're in the Sabbath and stuff, that's really going to take you back.
Nice.
Because we're all about our roots, man. That's what this band's about. It's all about the roots. So we're pretty stoked,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of roots, man, obviously you guys' roots are planted and yourself in New Jersey, and as a guy myself, I grew up in New York, and I followed a lot of bands over the years from Jersey. I used to go to shows in Jersey. I used to take pilgrimages to the old, rest in peace, vintage vinyl. in Jersey. And I always, and I always said, that, growing up there, I mean, to me, New Jersey is like the most underrated place for hard rock and metal. There's so many great bands that come out of there. And I think it obviously gets overlooked because it's, right next to New York, but New York is not a metal hard rock town. It's a punk town. And, and I mean, Jersey has WSOU. I mean, the best radio station that's been there for 30 years, just metal and hard rock, 24/7. So, I mean, being a native of the state, I mean, what is it about New Jersey that makes it such a solid breeding ground for hard rock and metal music? I mean, in your opinion?
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. I just think it's really, I think we have a pure situation thing going here. I mean, like, a lot of great local bands coming out of New Jersey now. I mean, like, I think through this pandemic, I really think a lot of bands just got pissed off, man, and just wanted to keep going. We wanted to bring that big sound back. And I mean, like, and that's what's going on, dude, because a lot of these bands now, I mean, like, a lot of the music that's coming out now, I don't know, man, there's a lot of it that I'm not really, I'm kind of hit or miss. I mean, like, it's cool, but I mean, like, it's still a bit of a hit or miss. You know what I mean? That's not to bring down, say anything bad. It's just, it's a little hit or miss. I mean, like the new Iron Maiden, I love it. That's killer. Texas Hippie Coalition, man, those guys.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
They're like, oh, dude, I love those guys, dude.
Yeah.
Blackstone Cherry. There's a band out called Black Smoke Trigger. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're awesome.
Haven't heard of them. No, yeah.
Oh, Black dude, you got to check them out. Yeah, they're a killer band. Cool. But I mean, like, there's like so much, but South Jersey's got some really cool bands too. So it's like, Rad has been WSOU's been very good to us, but Rad has been really, really good for us. They've been featuring our videos. Tom Hanley, he's been featuring our videos every time we put a new video out. We're featured artist of the week, and he's our stuff and everything on 95.9 Rat down in down the shore area, Sayreville and stuff. Sure. WSOU spends us, but they have certain things they can't really talk about on their stuff anymore. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Due to their whatever that their management, their protocol, because it's a Christian college. You know what I mean?
College, exactly. Yep, exactly. Yeah.
So you kind of got to watch. I mean, I don't curse in my stuff anyway, man. It's like, I try to do a little more innuendo and be a little more thought out with a thesaurus and stuff like that.
Sure.
The cursing thing, you really don't need to do that nowadays.
Sure. Yeah, no doubt, man.
I'll do it on stage. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but yeah, it's a difference. I know what you mean when you're doing it on, when you're recording it. Absolutely. Well, I mean, talk a little bit. I mean, from what you could tell, like I said, you've been a veteran in the scene. I know you've been, singing for a long time in bands.
28 years.
Yeah, there you go. Boom. There you go. From what you could tell, I mean, is the same energy for this music still there with the younger generation? Or do you think, or is it mostly veterans like yourselves? I mean, in Incognito Theory, bands like yourselves that are keeping things going, at least in your area. I mean, what do you see with the younger generation of metal and hard rock fans?
I think a lot of young kids are very they're very influenced, or what's the other word I'm looking for? The kids nowadays, personally, for me, what I see is that they're like followers of like the extreme, more of an extreme type of metal, like the screaming vocals and stuff like that. And but then again, some of them teeter a little bit. They like the mixture, but it's crazy. We our crowds at shows, we get a variety of people. Teenagers, of course, people our age in our 40s and 50s and stuff like that. And I think it's because of that hint of 80s vibe that's holding New Jersey together, and that's truth. Like the Guns N' Roses vibe, the Velvet Revolver vibe, the Poisons, the Def Leppards, I think that the Buck Cherry bands, like that kind of stuff, and with Incognito Theory, when I put this together, I wanted to give that too, because I kind of wanted to, positive, no negativity. You know what I mean? Like, kind of get every, yeah, man, let's party, man. You know what I mean? This is one big party. and, you know, let's have a good time, you know, smoke
Sure.
a couple of days, have a couple of whiskeys.
Mhm.
There's the chicks, man. Where's your hot outfits? Put some heels on. Come party with us, girls. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
just come down.
Just having a good time, right? Yeah, I know. Well, that's interesting too. Is, you know, I mean, you know, you guys are on a really cool, you know, label, Rage Breed. I know it's a pretty new label out of the UK. And I was checking out their website, just kind of reading up on them, and you know, what's interesting too is that, you know, I mean, they seem like they have such a passion for what they're doing, and they also make it very clear in their mission statement. They represent and promote more than just music. You know, so a band like, I mean, how did you guys want to hook up with Rage Breed, and what's the you know, what the union between you guys? I mean, why does that work so well, considering, you know, sort of their unique modern approach, where you guys are definitely more of a traditional, like you said, party up, have a good time kind of band?
Well, I mean, it started out with us getting in Karina's magazine.
Okay.
Little did I know. I mean, you as you know, we are managed by Metal Noise, managed, which is Uncle Frank. Very different. I know he's been working with me personally for 15 years, and he's actually the one who set that up for us.
Oh, very cool.
He was talking to her about stuff, and she mentioned the label and everything, and he was like, "Oh, you got to talk to Dave. Why don't you guys see if you'll get along and everything?" So I have to give, I really have to, you know, give him the credit for that, because he really believes in what we're doing. He's still here till this day, dude. I mean, me and him can argue, yell, get pissed at each other, whatever. You know, the best thing is, you want to work with IT, man, you got to have thick skin, because if you don't, guess what? There's the door. They'll let it hit you in the ass. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And and he's a really, you know, he really put his foot and neck out there for us. And I love working with Karina, dude. She's awesome. Me and her work head to head. I hit her up. I'll tell her, hey, this is what we're doing. You know, for instance, I'll give you an example. We're doing this big. You've seen the Whiskey Fueled video, right?
Yeah.
Of us in the bar and everything. Whatever.
Yep.
Now we're taking it to the next level. Sunset Moonshine is actually about a friend of mine. And she's actually the owner of the bar that we're going to shoot Sunset Moonshine's video. Really dear friend of mine. Okay. And we're taking it up a notch, man. We invited all our friends. We invited all the bands that we support to wear their band shirts, to show their logos and everything. Like, for instance, right here, let me do this real quick. American Grim. These are my boys. They're from New Jersey. Okay. And I love them. Brandon and Ryan and Mike, really great bunch of guys, and they've been big supporters of IT, and we support them big time. So, but we invited all our friends to come down, and we're going to turn this into a huge party, dude. And it was like, he goes, you just keep pushing the bar, don't you? And I said, I'm going to continue to push and push and push. And I'm going to do it in a way. I know we can't play a lot of shows because we have kids and stuff like that. And, you know, of course, there's some health issues in the band, nothing too crazy, but just enough to kind of slow you down a little bit. And we are getting up there in age. But if you do branding, if you brand your stuff correctly, man, you can still get out there and make it. I mean, we have tons of T-shirts, more to come, of course. We have, of course, our amulet. I don't know if you see that, or Phoenix. Oh, very cool. Yeah. Nice. We had them done, and then we're going to have stones made and the wings of the Phoenix kind of wrapping around. My friend Lucy and my guitar player's wife are going to be doing that. So that's going to be really cool. If you saw this Rebel Soul Lives On, you probably saw Lucy in the video. She's the girl that played the girl in the black dress. Yeah, she's part of our team too. So we just kind of, you know, we have a really big crew, Matt. Like, I mean, a bunch of people that are working together, and Karina really was happy with that. That we had our stuff together and what we wanted to do as a band. But she's like, every 2 months you got me a video. Every 2 months you got me this. I'm like, and I'm hitting up. I'm trying to get sponsored by everybody, man. I mean, we're working with Jack Daniels now. We're working with a bunch of different people now. So it's like things are just starting to come together. Dirtbag Clothing we're working with. Nice. Talks of working with a brewery company real soon, which I'll keep everybody posted with that. That's going to be sick if it all comes together. But I mean, there's just a lot on the table, and it's just like, you need the right people. It's the most important thing. If I can give anybody any advice about being in a band, it has to be the right musicians. And it's like a marriage. You got to work together in order for things to, you know, in order for it to flow. I mean, like when John came in the band, he's been in the band for 2 years now. My cousin John. You know, we wrote these songs and we were like, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Blah, blah, blah. And the guys that came in to help us, it was like, this is great. They loved what we were doing, and it worked, you know. And now it's like a machine. It's like a well-oiled machine, or a conveyor belt, as Steve Bloodgood says, my guitar player. He says we're like a conveyor belt. We're constantly putting something new out. But yeah, no, I mean, like, she's on board. She was totally on board from the gate, but now she's more. I think she's more sold on everything, because without fail, you know, she's come through for us. We've come through for her. Uncle Frank of Metal Noise being involved in everything too. I mean, like, just, we're all pushing together with promotions. Yeah. So, and that's the most important thing. We have a thing called the Round Table O Doom. And what we do is, we'll hit each other up. Hey, this is an idea. What do you guys think? And then everybody fires back their opinions. If something's off, we got to go to the Round Table O Doom and make it to where everybody agrees.
That's great, man. You guys are very organized with all that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you're, yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Well, you know, you just kind of spoke about something before about, you know, playing shows. Obviously, you know, it looks like things are kind of going in the backwards direction at this point with live music. But I did see, I think you had a couple of shows lined up till the end of the year. I mean, what's your guys' ideal plan? Obviously, when music, you know, live music does kind of fully open back up, are you guys going to do some touring here or there, or festivals? What's the plan in terms of promoting the record?
We're going to try. We're definitely going to try. I mean, we had something on the 18th that was for RAD, which is Rock Against District, but because of the Delta virus, all that, our dear friend Turbo decided that it wasn't the right time. Hopefully we'll do it next year. Okay. Then we had another show on October 29th, which was Halloween weekend. That kind of, you know, they were having issues with their club and everything. So we kind of just said, you know what, it's fine. We totally understand. Me and the guys were like, so eager to get back in the studio and finish our new recording. We're like, yeah, come on, man, let's get so we were like, okay, cool. But we're finally doing we have one show. It's December 10th. It's at QXT's, and it's our CD release. We're finally doing a CD release party for the Rage Breed, you know, the self-titled Incognito Theory. And we are going to showcase some of the new songs from the Brotherhood, of course. So that's going to be really, really awesome. And it should be a really, really good time. We got our really awesome. I can't tell you the special guest that's going to be on, but I can tell you who the opening band is. The opening band is a band called Defaulted. Okay. Good friends of ours. It actually features Ron Bourget, who used to be in Ogre. You ever hear of the?
Yeah, of course.
Ogre? Yeah, very, very dear and good friend of mine. So his band will be opening the gig, but the special guest band, once I can announce that, you'll know about that. And believe me, you know who they are. I'm sure you do. I'll send it to you. I'll send you an email after we.
Okay, cool.
And I'll let you know who it is. But you know who they are, dude. I can guarantee you. Right. And then of course us. It's 3 bands that night. It's gonna be a great time. Doors are at 6:30. We go on. You got 7 o'clock band, and then we're on it by like it's a really, really, because the way things it's a goth club, so they turn the rest of their night into a dance club. Okay. So by 9:30, 10 o'clock, we got to be done with the bands. But the owner, Rolando, is a really good friend of mine. So he's like, yeah, come on in, man. We did Whiskey Fueled CD release there, but it was an awesome time. But this is going to be lit, man. This is going to be really, really cool. But yeah, as for other shows, depending on finances and if it's worthy and all that stuff, and if we're able to do it, of course we'll do it. And, touring, we really haven't sat back and thought about that. Like I said, we're more concentrating on getting the band where it needed to be, because for the first couple of years it was very piecemeal. Now there's a solid foundation, and that's why this record means so much and dear to our heart, because we feel that this is our best foot forward. You know, of course, you know, Whiskey Fueled, great song. We love that song, and we feel that song is the song that like started us to kind of, I think we're finally making some progress to what we're looking to, you know, where we were looking to go, and kind of, you know, but there's going to be a little bit more of a darker approach on this, which is cool. We're going to keep it a little dark, but it's still going to be very tongue-cheek, in your face, catchy.
Very cool.
You know, it's still going to be the party vibe, dude. It's still going to be a really, really good time and stuff like that.
Good,
so we're
man.
pretty stoked.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely never change that party vibe. That's I think that's a big part of what you guys represent and what people like about the band. You know, enjoy about the band when they listen to music. But once again, the band's Incognito Theory, their kick-ass title EP is out now on Ragebreed Records. And Dave, why don't you go ahead and just let the viewers know where they can keep up with the band and check out the new record and get merch and all that good stuff.
Awesome. We have a one-stop shop. Just go to www.incognitotheory.com. All the links are up there. We got the t-shirt link. We got the iTunes link. We got all that stuff. They can stream it. They can buy it, however they want to do it. If they want hard copies, they can go to www.ragebreed.biz and get them straight from our label. Yeah, pretty much, man. Everything's one-stop shop. And then, yeah, I mean, we're really proud of everything, dude. I mean, like, we're just so we're kind of like spaced out a little bit now, because in our head we're like, oh man, we got so much stuff going on, blah blah blah. But if I can real quick, I really would love to give some shout outs to the people that really made this happen. So, well, first of all, to you, thank you for having me on here for Aftershock TV. I'm really happy to be here. Sorry about the other night, man. I couldn't get that.
No, don't worry about it. It happens, man. It happens. It's all good.
Of course, you know, management, Uncle Frank, he's been here. He's like big brother to me. So, you know, I love you, Uncle Frank. I know he's going to be watching this, definitely. You know, Karina for taking on a bunch of idiots from New Jersey with Ragebreed. She's great. My buddy Johnny Chadwick from Rough and Rude, great band and label mates. If you ever want to do an interview with them, they're awesome. Teach that killer song. And then, of course, Mark Petrick, our director who does our videos and our photography, but most of all, the fans. You know, without them, we wouldn't be able to do anything. And my band, I really love these guys. John Moscow, my cousin, Steve Bloodgood, lead guitar, Jerry Animus bass, and of course the guys that help, Mike Lepond and my dear friend Dave Crum. And then you have the boss, Mr. Steve Zing. Brother from another mother, dude. We're so happy and everything. So, but yeah, other than that, dude, everything has been really cool, dude. So we're stoked, man. We really are.
Awesome, man. Fantastic, man. Once again, the band's Incognito Theory and the self-titled EP out on Ragebreed Records. And Dave, man, thanks so much for coming on, and good luck with everything. And I can't wait to check out that new video you guys got coming out.
Oh, absolutely, man. If you want, I can actually send you. I might even be able to send you a little taste later of this new track.
Cool. Please do so.
I'll hook you up, brother. Don't worry about it.
All right. Awesome, dude. Awesome, man.
All right, my bro. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Take care, bud.